Good afternoon, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be covering the vehicle mode for Transformers Studio Series Gamerverse War for Cybertron Megatron. Yeah, this little hover tank, or Hoover tank. Ooh, yes, Hoover tank. It hoovers things. It's a decent little tank. And today we're going to go over it, its pros, its cons, and do some size comparisons. If you want to join me, then please go below, hit the like button, share, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And then below, leave a comment and tell me if you have this Megatron. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think the Studio Series Gamerverse line is doing well? Honestly, from this collector's opinion and this reviewer's opinion, it's been a lot of misses, more misses than with the 86 line. It's kind of weird. So we're going to talk about it, and hopefully you enjoy the show, and maybe the cat will show up at some point. Cream will show up whenever Cream wants to show up. So first off, let's go ahead and do some size. Let's bring out the handy dandy Lego pad. We haven't brought out the handy dandy Lego pad in a little while, and let's compare sizes. So, usually, since War for Cybertron Siege, the average width of a Transformer has been at 8 studs. And this guy is nothing to stop that average from occurring. Actually, he's 9 studs wide. So there we go. He's just 1 stud wider than the average. We're not going to count his barrel when we're looking at length. No, don't even count the barrel. So that's there, and then that little point is right there. So there. Cool. All right, let's see what we got here. We've got right there, and that is 17, 18, 19, 20 studs. 20 studs in length, not counting the barrel. Now, height-wise, it's not very tall. Here we go. We're gonna remove this his maul from the top of him. I keep calling it a mace. That's a maul. And here we go. Boom. And height-wise, he's 8 studs. So there. Cool. Let's slide this back under there. We're done with the handy-dandy Lego pad. Isn't that nice? Now, let's talk about this character. Well, for one thing, I do want to bring up something with this maul that is interesting, that I haven't experienced before with a Transformer since War for Cybertron. This maul has a port underneath it. So you can, like a siege port, so you can connect it to this pole. The difference is that the siege port for this maul is in a star pattern. So when you plug in this peg, it doesn't rotate at all. But that also means that you can't take this peg and say, the little handle there, it's got a little peg on the side for a handle for putting it places. You can't put that peg in that hole. This hole on this maul can only be used by this peg on the handle for the maul. That's it. They did something quite stupid there, in my opinion. I don't know why they made it specifically like that. It kind of ruins the whole siege peg, siege port combination thing that we've gotten for everything else since Siege began. And you can't put this maul on anything else, even if you're like, oh, this is really cool, and I want to kind of turn it into like the top of a tower or something in my Autobot city or Mega or Decepticon city or something for the core class figures. And you can't do that with this thing because you have to use this stupid handle. You can't use anything else. I wanted to make sure that you understood that, my viewers and my listeners, and we're going to set that maul off to the side. So let's get a comparison with Megatron here and the Siege Megatron. Now, I did want to mention something. Weight-wise, Siege Megatron is the bulkier guy. WFC Megatron isn't as heavy as WFC Megatron. I just wanted to say it like that to make it confusing. WFC War for Cybertron Siege Megatron is the heavier brute. Even though they are both Voyager classes, the Siege Megatron also came with a barrel extender that does make him look awesome. But it doubles this as weapon. And I think that would have been cool if this maul could have doubled as a barrel extender and a weapon. That would have been neat. That's a missed opportunity. Anyway, so let's compare sizes. So we're going to put them tail to tail, and then we're going to look and see where their treads end up. Interesting. Siege Megatron is actually Gamerverse Megatron is a little longer than Siege Megatron. Width-wise, though, Siege Megatron's got it on the Gamerverse, that's for sure. And now height-wise, Siege Megatron's got it on Gamerverse again, but only slightly. Not very much. Oh, that's what that weird wind was just now. That was a cat jumping up. See? I told you a cream would appear. Right on right. Cream. You want to give kisses? No? Okay. Alright. So let's put Siege Megatron off to the side. I just wanted to compare those sizes to give you an understanding that, the sizes are getting smaller again. And WFC Gamerverse Megatron is a good example of that. It's a very small Voyager. And it's not as small as Hot Rod, just FYI. But it is a smallish Voyager, and that is kind of a shame. They could have done a little bit more with him when it came to size. Now, let's talk about this vehicle mode in depth. Okay, so the barrel for this vehicle mode is really neat. You plug in his fusion cannon into the top of what his right arm was, and now you got a really long barrel for this. But the turret doesn't rotate. It doesn't even move up and down. This is a very stationary turret. This is like the most stationary turret for a tank mode we've come across since, or at least I've come across since Siege. I started in Siege recollecting Transformers after taking a break for over 10 years, and this is weird to have a tank with a static cannon. You can't raise it up, you can't lower it down, you can't rotate it. It's just a static cannon. This figure has no sort of pose ability at all. There's nothing on this vehicle that can be posed. There's really no moving parts on this vehicle. Like, this vehicle is basically a brick. That's kind of a shame, especially since the transformation does make it kind of annoying. Especially if you turn the underside, we've got this arm that's just folded up underneath there, and it doesn't click into anything. And so, because of the way the arm is shaped, you're kind of resting a part of the tank on that arm. And I think the tank should be resting on all four of its weird hover tread things instead of what it's doing, which is resting on that arm. And that's a shame. That isn't right. This tank mode is kind of neat. It's got some great feel to it. And it's not as heavy as Siege Megatron, but we've got some great textures going down the side. We've got these vents going on where the hover things are, and there's little cuts underneath those vents where you can feel little circles to be the ejectors for, I don't know, the fuel that makes him hover. So nice armor on the sides, great textures going on there. Like, this thing is off the wall with the textures. You got to give it that. This thing is crazy with textures. There's all sorts of neat textures all over the place. We got a little gun sitting above the cannon gun. Maybe it's like a little laser detector so he can better aim. I don't know. It's not bad whenever it comes to the textures. They did a good job, and I will give them a thumbs up for the textures. That is really cool. Otherwise, this is a brick. And to finish this up, let's pull out Cliff Jumper, because it's always nice to have a Cliff Jumper with the size comparisons. And there's the Cliff Jumper size comparison. He comes up most of the way up the halfway through the front hover track. I'm going to call it a hover track. I don't know what else to call it. He's that long. And there he is in the back end. Let's put him tailbone to tailbone there. And Megatron can just kind of eat him. So that is WFC Gamerverse Megatron. And honestly, I am not as satisfied with this as I was with the Optimus Prime. The Optimus Prime really did work out pretty well, and it's a shame that that this Megatron's vehicle mode it just feels half finished. It really does. It feels like they were working hard to make this happen, and then somebody screwed up early in the engineering process and just didn't have the time or the ability to go back and fix the issues. So this is what we've got. We've got a transformer that transforms into a very nice, very textured, very sleek and shiny box. It's a brick. And that's sad. I just want to be able to raise his turret up so he can shoot at Starscream or something, or Jetfire, but you can't. You can't raise his turret. You can't spin the turret left. You can't spin the turret right. You can't even lay him down on all of his treads correctly because of his stupid arm. This guy isn't really that great of a transformer, and that's a shame because I was really looking forward to him. Robot mode, he does not get out of the park except for the knees. The knees are a bit restrictive. And transformation's just a mess. It is a hot mess of a transformation, and it requires getting everything correct long enough to apply all the spots necessary to keep the tension, to keep it together. Like, tension's holding this thing together. It's not being held together because you put some ports in and they snapped into place. No. It's being held together because this front piece right here is holding these two pieces against it, and it's just tension that's holding this thing together. And this vehicle mode is not the greatest. This guy will be stored. I'll keep him in robot mode at all times because that's the only way to really keep him. It's otherwise you're not really going to have any great dioramas with him or anything like that. You can't do any action poses with this vehicle mode. So that's today's video. I know it's kind of a letdown, but War for Cybertron Megatron has been, well, Gamerverse War for Cybertron Megatron has been a letdown. Siege Megatron over here was far less of a letdown. Let's just look at one thing it can do. Oh, look at Siege Megatron spins his turret. Oh no, and not only that, he lowers it down to shoot at Cliffjumper over there, and he raises it up to shoot at Jetfire flying in the sky. Oh, it's wild what a little bit of articulation can do to make something actually more satisfying than this. This is just not satisfying to me. And so overall rating for the vehicle mode of War for Cybertron Megatron. They got all the sculpt right. They did a good job with that. It's a nice feeling tank. It's got some weight to it. And overall rating, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It deserves a 6 out of 10. The transformation stops it from really resting well on the ground. Then again, I could have screwed that transformation up. I don't know. And it doesn't work for me at all. You can't pose the tank mode. You can't do anything with it, and it's just stupid. It's a stupid tank mode, and that's a shame. I had a lot more hope for Gamerverse, but I think this will be my last Gamerverse figure. Unless they come out with that Titan scale Metroplex, I will be buying that. Thanks for watching today's video, and please tune into my channel, blind_prime, for full in-depth reviews from a blind person's perspective. Also, tune in tomorrow, where we will be discussing how to assemble the letter W out of Lego bricks. So tune in tomorrow for a Lego creation video, and until then, I hope you have a great day, and don't forget to take some time and laugh. Till next Prime, bye-bye for now.